Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. With that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. There has been a lot of chatter around the AMM, and I do think that by the end of this video, if you are an XRP holder, the true reason for the AMM to have so much hype behind it should be completely described, explained, and you should know why the AMM is a very, very significant piece of the puzzle when it comes to XRP. And it really all starts with Mika. So in a recent video, I was talking about regulations. Specifically, I was talking about how regulations are heating up around the world. Russia seems as though they are ready to embrace crypto assets for what they are, which is currency and technology. Outside of that, we are starting to see regulations around the entire world outside of Russia as well heating up, with the UK fully focused on it, embracing it. We see Taiwan, Indonesia, we see even India pushing for things. I mean, at the end of the day, there is going to be a lot of major moves around regulations over the course of the next couple months and even years ahead. But Mika is one that I'm fully focused on because when we're talking about cryptocurrencies, I feel as though everyone, for the most part, is kind of confused on what crypto actually is. Because majority of the projects that we do invest in is technology. If we're talking about currencies, then we're talking more so about stablecoins. I could technically utilize XRP to buy and sell, things, but that's not the main use case, in my opinion, when it comes to XRP. But regardless, why is Mika a big focus? Well, if we go back in time to June of 2023, Ripple was welcoming in Mika regulation as the US lawsuit highlights lack of clarity. Now, this is because operations regarding Ripple was actually gearing up in Europe and Asia despite the lawsuit in the US. We can even see that down here, Cindy Young from Ripple, who is the managing director for Europe and the United Kingdom, unpacked the firm's growing remit worldwide despite ongoing regulatory scrutiny in the US. And we can actually see when Mika got signed into legislation. That was May 31st, back in 2023. And we have here from Cindy Young that lawsuit is very isolated to US regulations or the lack of clarity and certainty thereof. It almost accentuates the kind of environment that we have in Europe and the US, or the United Kingdom, sorry. And we have Ripple continues to foster private-public partnerships and open dialogue with regulators and policymakers, with both parties educating each other as the industry develops. It does enable business to grow and innovation to happen. I would say we're very fortunate in this sort of UK-Europe environment, which is setting standards globally. I think that's where we've seen much bigger mainstream take-up and the real benefits of crypto's utility being realized. Without clear regulation, that is impossible. I see that as the first step in getting more mainstream adoption. It's really a number of different currencies and CBDCs that are all going to be coexisting, and all that kind of ability to interoperate, to go in and out, is going to be very important. And this is more so talking about those on and off ramps, and also connecting the entire system to one another. Having settlement between things of value is a big deal, which is why we do turn to XRP at that time. But there is a lot of discussions regarding, adoption, regulations, and acceptance of the innovation. And the UK and Europe have been very pro that. But also back in June, we have from Anthony Welfare, who is the CBDC strategic advisor at Ripple. He said, great interview with Cindy Young on Ripple's future prospects here in Europe and CBDCs. It's really a number of different currencies and CBDCs that are all going to be coexisting, and that kind of ability to interoperate, to go in and out of, is going to be very important. And if you guys didn't know, Anthony and also James Wallace have always been working together regarding European CBDC and digital money initiatives. Specifically, even here, just recently back in February, they were at the Future of CBDCs and Digital Money panel at the Digital Euro conference, DEC 24. And we have great discussion on the future of digital money and how use cases are critical for adoption of a digital currency. It will take time, and we are only at the beginning of understanding what the future use cases will be. And even here, you can see some of the images in the background where it's accelerating the evolution of global markets. And you could even see some of the other initiatives regarding the Digital Euro Association. And you could also see Ripple on the left side. You could even see the working groups, the thesis behind it. There's not a lot that you could see and read because of the quality of this picture. But regardless, we are seeing a lot of these discussions regarding CBDCs and digital money at the same exact time that we're now starting to see regulations being pushed. And the AMM is why I'm fully focused on XRP, right? Why is that? And it's the number one reason which gets me going back to Mika. And it's because of this post here. So big shout out to Smoke Dog for this. There's two parts. And we have mainstream adoption of digital market infrastructure. Euroclear, DLT pilot regime, etc. all signal an upward trajectory of digital market infrastructure becoming a reality in the mainstream. And here we have mainstream adoption of digital market infrastructure. And we can see the full breakdown of this. Again, it's all regarding adoption, innovation, regulations, standardization, acceptance of all of that. But the last quote there on the right side is what I'm mainly looking at, which is, we are witnessing a bit of an arms race as new entrants invest substantially in digital market infrastructure alongside existing FMIs. And that's financial market infrastructures. But mainly the thing to take away from all of this is the EU and the UK, right? Their regulatory frameworks are already put in place regarding a lot of these digital initiatives and even digital securities, CBDCs, stablecoins, all of that, tokenization endeavors. A lot of those major problems are already solved when it comes to those regulatory frameworks. But what gets me extremely excited, right, is this post. Yes, an XRP Ledger based tech layer for the EU DLT pilot regime is being regulated under new legislation with a secondary market for tokenized securities, which is the AMM, and can be integrated with regulated settlement coins through Mika. Remember, only Ripple met with Mika. And here we have what distributed financial market infrastructure, FMI, Axiology is XRP Ledger-based technological layer for DLT Transaction Settlement System, DLT TSS, a new regulated institution type under EU DLT pilot regime regulation. And that's where we could actually see the secondary market for tokenized securities, AMM. Now, what's funny about this is, going back to Anthony Welfare, if we go to his media, he does post a lot. I know that it was during the summertime when he was posting regarding Axiology, but he was the main one to really kind of post these images. So here's the full-on image. And again, it's all focused on CBDCs. We have CBDCs are gaining traction globally, and Ripple CBDC team are focusing in on real-world use cases for CBDC or stablecoin. A couple of weeks ago, I shared 2 real use cases at a CEE FinTech conference in Romania, regulated DLT infrastructure for tokenized securities. In partnership with the superhow_com team and their Axiology project, a tokenized securities trading and settlement system, DLT TSS infrastructure. This infrastructure enables multiple layers of the current capital market infrastructures to coexist on one technology layer, leading to multiple synergies, process efficiencies, and new business models. And this is where you have the distributed financial market infrastructure for tokenized securities. And remember, right, that marketplace, that market infrastructure is fully a focus of everyone's right now. And when I say everyone's, I mean institutions, major tokenization project builders, those that want to utilize tokenization endeavors. So we're talking about capital market players, we're talking about credit union players. All of them want to get in on the tokenization space, but the problem is that there's no market, there's no infrastructure for it. So we have one layer regulated FMI instead of multi-layer custody, settlement, and trading interconnected platforms. Process efficiency, automation, cost, regtech saving, direct retail participation possible, regulated fractionalization of tokenized securities, secondary market for tokenized securities, the AMM, issuance on the ledger of fungible token-based regulated securities, integration of regulated settlement coins, Mika stablecoins, CBDCs, and this is all from July of 2023. And they even have a full breakdown of this, making the digital economy safe for business. And this is actually from Ripple back in July regarding Mika, CBDCs, DLT, and everything that needs to be in place in order for all of this to be realized in. And the AMM does come up in discussion because that is going to be a significant player in terms of liquidity. Now, outside of this, the AMM is very close. Guys, we are technically roughly 7 days away from having this realized in. Now, does it go fully live on March 22nd? No. But I do think that we are getting very close to this actually being fully implemented. And I'm watching this closely. But beyond this, why is the AMM so big in terms of the piece of the puzzle? Well, it's not just because of how big it is in terms of the secondary market or a market maker technically. It's also what David Schwartz has told us. Back in June of 2022, Crypto Airy posted a great clip, actually, and it was David in his awesomeness mode. Automated market making, a must-have for any DEX or you'll be left behind. There is a secret sauce 153, new and unusual, which we will talk about. The XRP Ledger, the first DEX, has a huge competitive advantage with AMM to leapfrog other decentralized exchanges. Specs published shortly, and check it out.
So a lot of people don't know this, but the XRP Ledger was the original decentralized exchange, fully functional since 2012 without incident. Where you need a decentralized exchange is where you have access to a number of interesting tokens. So if some people have XRP and some people have Bitcoin and some people have dollars, that's when there's a need for a decentralized exchange. And what we built is a decentralized exchange, payment, pathfinding, all of these sophisticated features, order books, to make a multi-asset payment just work. As it happens, the XRP Ledger has a number of design features that give its DEX a huge competitive advantage, especially if combined with automated market making. The XRP Ledger today does not have any support for automated market making, and I think all major DEXs have shown that is a must-have. The XRP Ledger uses order books instead. These work, and they work well. They just don't provide as much liquidity as automated market makers can. And I think another important point is automated market makers allow stakeholders to get a return from the profits the automated market maker gets. And done right, automated market makers on the XRP Ledger could be a game changer, uniquely positioning it to leapfrog other DEXs. Those who don't seek innovations that make managing liquidity on these DEXs simpler and accessible are going to get left behind. Because of the XRP Ledger's inherent advantages as an AMM and DEX platform, Ripple's engineering team is designing an expansion to XRP Ledger's order book DEX to include an automated market maker, offer better user experience, and greater liquidity to this long tail of tokens. The XRP Ledger has multi-path payments that can draw down liquidity from multiple sources, and that will include the various automated market makers. So, for example, if I'm going from XRP to USD, I can go directly from XRP to USD through an automated market maker order book, but I could also go XRP Bitcoin USD, XRP Ethereum USD through these multiple paths. And then there's the secret sauce I mentioned, reducing impermanent loss. This is novel in the automated market maker market. And innovations like the XRP Ledger automated market maker are just an example of working to own a slice of that DeFi pie.
Now, again, outside of this, though, things get a little bit more interesting. Big shout to Anderson for this. I believe this could be a big deal. Recap. Back in July, David wrote this, planned secret sauce, come on. Now it seems the AMM implementation for XRP Ledger is close. Now, this was actually back in September of 2022, which is why we have been on edge in terms of having the AMM pass. Guys, we have been waiting for the AMM for a very, very long time. We have, for the first time, this reveals the planned secret sauce, a continuous auction mechanism that incentivizes arbitrageurs to burn liquidity tokens and arbitrageurs sooner, more accurately, and more frequently to increase the benefits to liquidity providers. And if we scroll down, we can see, let's go back to Bob Way, former Ripple employee. He spoke about a mechanism that would position XRP in the bridge asset position in perpetuity. And here we have, I think I've discovered the last algorithm that RippleNet needs to drive XRP into the bridge currency position and also to maintain it there in perpetuity. But that algorithm won't necessarily be the first one employed to help XRP along on that path. There are other ad hoc ways that might be simpler to implement and more effective for the initial corridors that companies want to deploy. And then we also have sound familiar. He also mentions a pool a couple of times. Makes us think of the Secret X pool. And we have to keep in mind, this is not a financial pen. It is useful in creating pathways for converting any type of resource to another type of resource. If your resource was water and you kept it in a pool in your yard, you might get sick of swimming and want to convert that to a pool filled with dirt. And then we also have, you can do that at any potential conversion factor that you find suitable. Bob also said it would maximize the profit for the market makers while minimizing incentive transfer to market makers. That also sounds familiar, since my understanding with the AMM suggestion, the market maker would make more profit taken from arbitragers. And we have in your application of the patent, it would maximize the profit for the market maker while minimizing the incentive transfer to market makers. And then also at the bottom there, we have, and once again, pool. This is from Wojcik. We have, the amendment will allow XRP Ledger users to deposit, withdraw, and govern on an AMM instance or a pool. The most interesting part about this amendment is it incentivizes liquidity providers on the native DEX, which improves XRP's bridging feature as there's more liquidity. So this will greatly impact XRP's liquidity, opening up major opportunities to go after much larger corridors. And again, this is all from 2022, mind you. And then we also have another video clip of David Schwartz describing this in a little bit more of a different spotlight. Check this out.
Built around it. The XRP Ledger's DEX is built around a simple central limit order book rather than an automated market maker. But I think if you have both of them, I think this is a case where it just blows away OR. The automated market maker addresses most of the pain points that people face in the decentralized liquidity landscape today. So the DEX launched in 2012. It allowed tokenization of any kind of asset and the ability to trade and move them in just seconds on chain. It provided like globally competitive liquidity, but there was no way to get yield, and sometimes there just wasn't the sort of liquidity that people might need. So RippleX focused on differentiating our DEX with automated market making in conjunction with the central limit order book and integrated with payments, so that these three features work together to provide a feature set that is unmatched. This is not everybody else has automated market makers, now we have them too. This is everybody else had automated market makers because they couldn't build an order book. Imagine an order book on Ethereum. If you think about how order books work, as prices change, people place offers at different rates. They cancel previous offers. If it cost you $13 to place an offer that nobody's likely to take, just to provide liquidity in case someone needs it, that's completely untenable. If your transactions take 10 minutes to confirm, you can't track price changes. We have our own order book because we can, and the functionality of both of them together is just, I don't have words to convey how excited I am about this feature. In October, we're very hopeful that developers will be able to use and test an early version on the developer network so people can build front-end UIs, integrate with new applications, and understand the features that it can provide. I would love to do the whole talk on the automated market maker and get really deep in the weeds, and I'm going to have to fight myself not to get very technical, because this is sort of engineering perfection that certain things have. Any one of you who's worked on something, it doesn't have to be software, it could be cars, it could be bicycles, but anything where you're building something, you reach a point where like everything works together and it just fits really nice, and you're like, yes, this is like really nice. And then there'll be a couple warts somewhere, but they really stand out because the rest of the design is so great, and we're reaching that point.
So there you guys have it. And again, this is extreme excitement from someone who's a lot smarter than majority of the space that are calling this AMM a big nothing amendment. Like, it's insane to me that people are still overlooking how big of an opportunity this AMM is going to be, not only for XRP holders, but for the entire XRP ecosystem. Now, you're not just going to be generating, passive income from this all day long. There's still risk involved, and you still have to put up your XRP in order for you to actually realize any significant money from, passive income. But regardless, this is going to unlock a ton of opportunity just for XRP alone in terms of a bridge asset. This will perfectly position XRP in that bridge asset position, in my opinion. And it all really goes back to what's been happening, what they've been building out. I mean, I really go back to July when we start to see a lot of this AMM talk and a lot of the discussions around infrastructure, around tokenization. And then you also listen into some of these interviews with the Arctic CEO talking about how the XRP Ledger is going to see trillions on top of trillions on top of trillions in terms of on-chain value by the end of 2025. And you're thinking to yourself, like, could this really be realistic? Is this something that could happen? And it really all comes back to what needs to be put in place in order for any of that to be realized in. And I do think that the AMM is a very significant piece of this. And, even Ripple, they are at the forefront. They've been talking with the EU. They've been addressing Mika. They've been working with Mika. They're the only ones that have been, compliant with Mika, that are building something of this substantial weight, if you will. And I do think that this is definitely going to be a big opportunity. And we even have that quote on the right there: seize the momentum for regulatory certainty, build on crypto industry insights, solve a real problem with CBDCs, EU make capital market accessible to retail. And again, I really do think that we're going to start to see a lot of major activity on the XRP Ledger once we have some of these things in place. I'm very excited for the AMM. It seems as though this is going to be passed, but we still need to be patient. We still need to be vigilant, because in the last couple months, this got close to being passed, and then just at the end point, we start to see a lot of nays piling up, and the consensus drops significantly. So we need to be a little bit more patient, and we need to be aware that this could change. So as we do get closer and closer to March 22nd, that's when we start to look at this a little bit more and more closely to say, all right, yeah, this is getting passed. This is going to be a very significant thing. So I'm very excited about this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.